Hope you all are keeping well. Welcome back to my class. So today we'll be doing Union Executive. In the previous class we did the Union Legislature, the three forms of government: Legislature, Executive and Judiciary. And we have done the first part, Legislature, which is the lawmaking body, and Executive. Today we'll be doing it. So what is the main objective of Executive? The main duty of Executive is to perform the task or enforcing of laws. That means Legislature make laws and those laws are enforced by the Executive. And who all completely form the executive bodies? So we can say that the Union Executive consists of President, Vice President, Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. So these are the four: President, Vice President, Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. So this all together they form the Union Executive. So all these four completely form the Union Executive. So we'll be discussing one by one. We'll discuss one by one what are their powers and functions, how are they elected. So first we'll discuss President, after that Vice President and Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. So right now we'll be discussing about the President. First of all, what is the qualification required to become the President of India? So before I tell you about the qualification, I would like to tell you about the President. President is the constitutional head of our country. President is the nominal head of our country. He is a symbolic head of our country. Nominal head who does not possess real powers. The real powers are vested in the hands of the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. So President is a nominal head. The country is run in the name of the President. In real sense, the real power belongs to the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. Now, first of all, qualifications required to become the President of India. In the previous class, when we discussed about Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, there we discussed the qualifications. In that, only one changes you can make it, and that become the qualifications required to become the required to become the President. The first one, you all know it, must be a citizen of India. Must be a citizen of India. The second one is age. Citizen of India. Person must have attained the age of 35 years and above. In the Lok Sabha, we discussed 25 plus. In Rajya Sabha, 30 plus. And to become the President, how much? 35 years and above. 35 plus can become the President. And next one is that one more important thing is that number 3, the person should not be a member of either house. Person should not be the member. Should not be the member of either house. Now what is the meaning of either house? The person who wants to become the President should not be a member of Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha. He should not be a member of Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha. That is why it is called member of either house. The person should be a citizen of India. Listen to me properly and please go through the video till the end. Many of the students, they are least bothered about what we are doing for you all. So please children, I am requesting you all. Citizens of India. Number 2, 35 years and above, should not be a member of either house. And he should not hold any office of profit. So that is all. Now next one we'll be discussing about election. Who elects the President of India? First of all, the President of India is elected indirectly. President of India is elected indirectly. Prime Minister is elected directly, but the President of our country is elected indirectly. Now, who all elects the president. So the president of India is elected by an electoral college. Elected by electoral college. The president of India is elected by a electoral college. The term electoral college. So this is the name of the body. The body which elects the president is known as electoral college. Now who all are involved in the electoral body? So let me tell you. Number one, members of the parliament. Members here, S, members of the parliament. So when I say members of the parliament, means the members of both the houses, members of Lok Sabha as well as member of Rajya Sabha. So in bracket, let me write you LS plus RS, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha members. Members of Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. So in simple term, members of the parliament means the members of Lok Sabha and the members of Rajya Sabha, both they elect the president of our country. And number two, MLAs of all the states. CLS, plural, not one MLA. MLAs of all the states. You know that we have 29 states. We have 29 states and 29 legislative assemblies are there, and in 7 states bicameral legislature is there, where legislative council is also there. So members of both. So MLAs, what is the full form of MLA? Member of Legislative Assembly. What is the member of MP? Member of Parliament. You might have heard many times. So MLAs of all the states, they are also involved in the election of the president. And the third one is that I told you, member of the states as well as union territories. Members of all the states and the union territories of Delhi and Puducherry. Okay, so this is all about the election of the president. So president of our country is elected by an electoral college in which members of parliament is involved, and the members of legislative assemblies of all the states, 29 states plus union territories of Delhi and Puducherry. So this is all about the election of the president, but this is done in an indirect way. Now you may say, sir, they are electing, then how it is called indirect election? So our involvement is indirect. Though the members of parliament are electing the president directly, but our involvement is not there directly. So we have elected the members of parliament, we have elected the member of legislative assembly, and they on behalf of us elect the president. That is why it is termed as indirect election. So president of India is elected indirectly. Now, so what is the term? What is the term of the president? Very simple. The term of the president, 5 years. Once elected, the president can remain in office till which year? 5 years. But can he be removed? Yes, if he goes against the constitution, if he violates the constitution. He is a human being, so that means human beings are fallible. They may make mistakes. So if he violates the constitution, or he betrays, or is found of doing treason, or involved in any sort of corruptions, then he can be removed. And the removal of the president, the term which is used is known as impeachment. This is the term used. The president of our country is removed through the process of impeachment. Once again, the president of our country is removed through the process of impeachment. This is known as impeachment. IMPEACHMENT. This is a term. So if I say president is impeached, means president is removed. The process, which will process I'll discuss in the higher classes. Okay. So this is termed as impeachment. Okay. Now we'll be discussing about the powers of the president of our country. Powers of the president. Powers of the president. So, what are the powers powers given to the president of our country? First of all is the executive power. First of all, the first topic is executive power. So, what are the executive powers of the president of our country? The first one is, the first important power of the president is, president appoints the PM. The president of our country appoints the PM, Prime Minister. Number 2, appoints the ministers. Council of Ministers on the advice of the PM. So let me tell you once again. The president appoints the prime minister, okay, and the president appoints the council of ministers, other ministers who all are the helping hand of the prime minister. They are also appointed by the president, but on the advice of the prime minister. So prime minister is the one who forms the council of ministers. He decides who is going to be the minister, and that names are given to the president, and president appoints them. So first one is forms the council of ministers. Now next one we have is president appoints the state governors. President appoints the state governors. So let me tell you one by one. Governors of the states. Every state governors are there. Okay. Then president appoints the judges. Judges of SC, Supreme Court, judges of Supreme Court, judges of HC, High Court, judges of Supreme Court, judges of High Court. They are appointed by the president, okay, and ambassadors, AMBASS. Ambassadors. This is not name of the vehicle. Ambassadors are appointed and sent to other countries and received by the president. Ambassadors are the one who are appointed in foreign countries. Like in Bhutan, there is an Indian embassy. So they are there to look after the welfare of the people of India. It's not that they are going to they are there to help people of Bhutan. It's not like that. So Indian peoples are there in Bhutan. So that is there. If any problem, we can go to the Indian embassy. We can get help from there. So this way, the relation between the two different countries are maintained through the Indian ambassadors and the foreign ambassadors. So they are appointed by the president. So president appoints the governor, judges of Supreme Court, judges of High Court, ambassadors, and many more are there. Many more like Auditor General, Comptroller and Auditor General is there, Attorney General are there. So all the high dignitaries of the state, the important position holders of the states, they are appointed by the president. Chairman of Union Public Service Commission. The election commissioner of our country is also appointed by the president. Election commissioner, who is given the task to conduct elections in our country as well as in all the states. So all the election procedure is conducted by the election commissioner. So these are the appointment making powers of the president of our country. So all this comes under the executive powers of the state. And apart from that, which is not mentioned in your book, president looks after the administration of union territories. President, Union Territories, you know that the 7 Union Territories are there. Who looks after the administration of Union Territories? The President is the one who looks after the administration of Union Territories. Okay, now next one, military powers. In very simple word, if you can listen to me properly, then you can easily understand it. Military powers of the President. President of our country is the Commander-in-Chief. The President of our country is the Supreme Commander. Supreme Commander. President of our country is the Supreme Commander. Supreme Commander of the 3 wings of our armed forces. We have 3 wings: Army, Navy, Air Force. So all the 3 defense forces head is the President. So President is the Supreme Commander of the defense forces of our country. And so being the defense head, what can he do? He can declare war and conclude peace. President has the power to declare war and conclude peace. It doesn't mean that a president can declare war without the consent of the. So all these powers he can use it, or he can do it on the advice of the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. So real power is in the hand of the Prime Minister. So when Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers decides to go for a war, he conveys the message to the President, and President follows that. So all in all, President is a nominal head, and the real powers are in the hands of the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. Okay. So President can declare war, conclude peace, that we know it. Now apart from that, President also has the power to enter into the agreements. That means all the important treaties. Treaties means agreement. Whenever the agreement is done between 2 countries, so that is known as treaties. So this type of agreements or treaties are signed in the name of the President. It will be done by decided by the Prime Minister, Council of Ministers, but it will be signed in the name of the President. So these are the military powers of the President of our country. Now next one. The next one we have is legislative powers. Next one we have is legislative powers. So legislative powers, the first important legislative power is President can summon. The word summon is used over here. What is the meaning of summon? Summon means to call. President can summon. President can summon. Summon means to call. So whenever there is a deadlock in the passing of bill in the parliament, whenever there is a deadlock, no result coming out, so in that case, President can summon both the houses. President will call both the houses. Both the houses means both the member of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha to sit together and decide the passing of the bill. So that is done by the President. And in that case, who presides over the joint sitting of the parliament? Because Lok Sabha is held separately, Rajya Sabha is held separately. But when they both are brought together, who presides over the joint sitting? So it is presided over by the Speaker of Lok Sabha. Okay. The next one is prorogue. Prorogue means temporary suspension of the parliament. Another term mentioned over here is prorogue. P-R-O-R-O. Prorogue. So President can temporarily suspend the parliament if it is not functioning properly, or to teach them a lesson. Sometimes lot of confusion takes place in the parliament and lot of chaos takes place. In that case, temporary suspension can be done. Temporary activities of the parliament can be suspended by the President. So this is the first important power of the legislative power of the President of our country. Legislative power. Don't get confused. So first, number 2, President can dissolve the Lok Sabha. President can dissolve the Lok Sabha. Yes, if the Lok Sabha is not functioning as per the constitution, or the majority is not proven in the Lok Sabha by the government, then definitely government will be dissolved by the President, and he can order for the fresh election. President can order for the fresh election. The next one, as I told you, joint session is called by the President whenever there is a deadlock in the passing of bills in the Lok Sabha as well as Rajya Sabha. Then each and every bills, process of passing a bill. Bills are introduced in either house. Lok Sabha will pass the bill, it will go to Rajya Sabha, and after being passed from both the houses, Lok Sabha also passed, Rajya Sabha also passed, then the bill is sent to the President for its assent. So, assent means President will have to sign it. So, once the President signs the bill sent from the Parliament, it becomes an act. So, bills becomes an act when passed or signed by the President of our country. I hope you understood it. So, President signs the bill. President may or may not sign the bill. In first instance, when he can also send the bill back to the House if he finds that certain changes are required or he is not happy with certain provisions in the bill. So, he can send it back. Then again, second time again when it is passed from both the houses, when it is sent to the President, then he has to sign. He cannot reject it. So, that is that. So, the next one. One more. President nominates. President nominates. President nominates. President nominates 2 members in LS, Lok Sabha. LS means Lok Sabha. Don't use the term, just for your understanding, to make it short I am making it LS. 2 members in Lok Sabha and 12 members in RS, Rajya Sabha. So in the previous chapter I told you regarding who are the 2 members nominated in the Lok Sabha. They belong to the Anglo-Indian community. The President nominates 2 Anglo-Indian communities in the Lok Sabha if he feels that that particular community is not properly represented in the Lok Sabha. And the 12 members are nominated by the President in the Rajya Sabha, and these 12 members they belong to a very profile. That means they are the excellent. They have excelled in the field of art, science, social service. Okay, so they are the veterans of their respective fields. They are nominated. Nominating in Hindi is called mononeet. In news and all, sometime you might have heard mononeet. So that is nominated by the President. So this also comes under the legislative power of the President. So how many members are nominated by the President? 14. 2 plus 12, 14. 14 members are nominated by the President in the Parliament, to Lok Sabha and 12 to Rajya Sabha. So hope you all understood it. Please watch it carefully and thoroughly. If you don't understand it, again watch it again and again, so that it will be clear to you all. Now, legislative power is over. Some of the important powers we have already discussed. Now, regarding the financial powers is also there. So, financial powers, let me tell you. Financial powers. So, number 1, the budget of the Parliament. The budget in the Parliament is presented by the Finance Minister in the name of the President. So, what is the meaning of budget? You might have heard budget session. Budget is the income and expenditure of the government. Income. How much income? How much income is there, and what is the expenditure? So, in every household also you see. This month budget is this much. Suppose my budget, my salary, how much is the salary, and what is my expenditure? This together is known as a budget. So the budget which is presented in the Parliament, that is in the Lok Sabha, is presented by the Finance Minister, but in the name of the President. And next one, money bills. In the Lok Sabha, last time we discussed, money bill can only be introduced in the Lok Sabha. So yes, money bill can only be introduced in Lok Sabha. But what is the role of the president? So without the prior permission of the president, money bill cannot be introduced in Lok Sabha. Money bill cannot be introduced in Lok Sabha without the permission of the president. And next one, president can grant advance. So contingency fund is in the control of the president. Contingency fund means the funds kept for emergencies, meeting out emergencies in the country. That is in the control of the president. So that is all about the financial powers. The next one, judicial powers. Next one is judicial powers. So what are the judicial powers of the president of our country? What are the judicial powers of the president of our country? Now, the first one, the president has the power to grant pardon. Pardon means he can give relief to any of the culprit punished by the Supreme Court. So if it is a death sentence, he can show mercy and reduce it to lifetime. If the culprit or the victim or the convict is given the lifetime imprisonment, so he can reduce certain years from the lifetime imprisonment, that he can do it. Okay, he can reduce it, and he can suspend the sentence. A person who has been found guilty, he can suspend the punishment that is there. He can grant pardon. If a death sentence is awarded by the Supreme Court, he can pardon them. Okay, he will be, his death sentence will be converted into a lifetime imprisonment. That is possible. Okay, so anyhow, he is not answerable to any court for his laws, for his actions, except he has been impeached. He cannot be brought in front of the court for his any illegal activities. The process which is held in order to remove the president is only through the process of impeachment. Now, the next one is emergency powers. Next one is emergency powers. So what are the emergency powers of the president of our country? So let me tell you, there are three types of emergencies. The first one is national emergency. Second one is constitutional emergency. And the third one is financial emergency. So national emergency when the country is completely under the threat of external war. External threat is there, like a war-like situation in our country. So suppose if China is trying to attack India or Pakistan is trying to attack, it's a war-like situation in that country. In that situation, president rule can be imposed. And the second one, constitutional emergency, if the state government or any of the government in the center is not functioning as per the constitution, then he can impose president rule in that state as well as in the parliament also. That means in the central government also can be dissolved and president rule will be imposed. Okay, so that is possible. And next one is that if the financial condition of the country becomes worst, the financial condition of our country becomes unstable, at that time also president rule can be imposed. So during that president rule, what happens? The entire control of the country comes in the hand of the president of our country. President, with the help of the governors of all the state, will look after the country. So it is some sort of a military rule. Army will be used in order to maintain discipline as well as to look after the administration of the country. So these are the emergency powers of the country. But in order to impose emergency, parliament approval is definitely required. So as I told you, the president does everything on the advice of Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. Decision is taken by the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. The next one is the discretionary power. So what is the meaning of discretionary power? The power of his own. Discretionary power means power. Why I am telling you all this? Because the rest of all the powers are utilized by the president on the advice of Prime Minister and the Council of Minister. Prime Minister and the Council of Minister. But there are certain powers which he can use it on his own. Like in order to dissolve the Lok Sabha or any of the Lok Sabha, then definitely he don't have to ask to any of the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. He can do it on his own. Okay, and sometimes second one is that whenever there is no clear-cut majority in the formation of the government, suppose for example elections are held, no party comes in majority to form the government. In that case, what to do? President will give his own opinion and think that okay, let me give chance to any of the party, if a Congress party or BJP party, he will invite them and tell them, you please form the government and prove your majority. If the party does it, well and good. If no, then definitely there is no chance, no other way. Then again we have to go for the next election. So that is all about the discretionary power of the president. Okay, so I think you all understood about the powers and functions of the president of our country. Now the next one, next topic which we'll discuss right now is the vice president. Vice president of our country. Now, first of all, what are the qualifications required to become the vice president? Similar to the qualification required to become the president. Okay, the qualification required to become the president is the same required to become the vice president of our country. Now, next one, what is the term of the vice president? 5 years. What is the term of the vice president? 5 years. And as I told you earlier also that vice president is the ex-office chairperson of Rajya Sabha. Vice president of our country is the chairperson, ex-office chairperson of Rajya Sabha. So who is the vice president of our country? It is M. Venkaiah Naidu. And who is the president of our country? President of our country, Ramnath Kovind. Okay. So now what are the powers and functions of the vice president of our country? The vice president, as I told you, is the ex-office chairperson of Rajya Sabha. He will preside over the session of the Rajya Sabha, and all the proceedings which takes place in the Rajya Sabha will be controlled by the vice president. And other functions are not similar to the president. So here, in the absence of the president, he will look after the office of the president. Okay. In case of the vacancy of the seat, suppose president resigned or he is impeached by the that means impeached by the parliament, in that case there will be a vacancy in the president's office. So in the absence of the president, his office will be looked after by the vice president. He will discharge the duties of the president being the vice president being the acting president of our country till the new president is elected. So within 6 months a new president is to be elected. So these are some of the powers and functions of the president of our vice president of our country. So this is all about from these two topics, and the remaining two topics we'll discuss in the next class. So I request you all once again to please go through this video again and again so that you can understand it properly. I think in the first watch only you can understand it, but many of you don't have patience to sit and go through this 30 minutes or 40 minutes of video. Very difficult, but now you have to get habituated with this, because we have to go this way only. We are left with no options. It's a long way to go to school and study again. It will take time, so you have to go through this. You have to please stick to your studies, complete your works, get your copies from the shop. Many of the stationery shops are open, get it from there. And very soon you will be given the textbook also. Go through it, read it, make a timetable, go through it. Lockdown is outside, but at home there is no lockdown. So please go through your books, study. All the teachers are doing their best to reach to you all. So please don't ignore your studies, and please do it. So whatever question answers the last time I gave you, I hope you all have done it. So from this chapter also, today also I am going to give you certain questions as your homework. You will do it. So the link to the questions I have given in the descriptions. Link to the exercises which you have to do it on your own is given in the description box. So you please check it. So we'll meet again in the next class. Till then, take care and stay safe. Bye-bye.